All right. There still seems to be a narrative, a notion, an assumption, accusations flying around that McLaren have been cheating. And I really don't give a damn what people say on that, because I do care what people say on that. I just don't think they are completely thinking. And oddly enough, it's a certain fan base that is so ready for McLaren to have been caught cheating, if this was the case. What I think people are extremely missing is there was already a report that came out. Okay, all cars were inspected and tested using the parameters of the regulations. And all cars, as we did review in our last live, well, no, the last live, we reviewed a lot of information and factual data and stats that totally, showed people being wrong, and yet you still have dumbasses saying that they're right with no factual data on it and, all that. But the video before that, we talked about that. What's up, the Leon Son first in the live chat. And in the report, several other reports, the FIA deemed that all cars were legal and within the parameters that were initially set. Now, there is a new set of parameters, or variables, or tolerances, more accurately stated, according to the regulations that they will be enforcing this week, actually starting today, because free practice is probably roughly 9 hours from now on a Thursday. And they will be going over everything that has been happening. What's going on, Jefferson? I see you in the live chat. So the thing is this, okay? Lando Norris has made a quote in response to a lot of the things going around, because people seem to think that McLaren are going to be heavily impacted by this regulation that's being enforced just in the second race of the season. Okay. I'm not here to debate that. What I am here to say is that, like I said before, there was a document, there was an inspection, and they said all cars were good. Now, what Lando had to say about this is this. When asked the question, Paul in the super chat says, "What's good, fam? Happy Thursday. Smash the like button." Paul, bro, I tell you, man, you super dope, bro. You are super dope, man. Big shout out to you, brother. So Lando has this to say in regards to this. He says, "No, we don't have to change anything. Ours is fine." Okay? Ours is fine. He's saying right there and then, they're not going to have to change anything. But what is it that Lando may be alluding to, or does Lando have full carnal knowledge to know exactly what might need to be changed? And if nothing does need to be changed, because I want you to think about this. All these videos coming out and people I've watched these videos, and I'm telling you, if you watch several other cars, I'm not sure you don't see the same situation. The move is very minimal. We're talking about millimeters, okay? Millimeters. With that all being said, how many other cars had the same type of movement? Or maybe nobody paid attention to them because these cars are on the front whipping Red Bull's ass. Maybe that's what it is, right? Because there seems to be a lot of Red Bull fans that want this happening. But what Red Bull fans have to realize is you have to had been at least preparing yourself for this type of situation. And I'm not saying that it's officially here. Just as the tides turned last season, which people seem to ignore this too. And it's really funny that delusional people that are completely diluted, Max Verstappen and Red Bull still had the most dominant car, likely in Formula One history, at the top to almost mid-season last season. This is the reason why Max Verstappen was able to slow the bleeding down on the back half of the career, on the back half of the season. Okay, so I don't know where all of this foolery comes in. The fourth fastest car, the third fastest car. He didn't have that the first part of the season when he got all of those wins. When he was collecting all those wins, he was still in the most dominant car in Formula One history. And people, this is why I pick like one or two comments, one or two idiots to respond to, just because it's funny, and then the rest I don't even see them. Honestly, I don't see them. I'll go through see one or two, respond to them just for shits and giggles. Jefferson says Lando No Wins is turning into Lando More. Right. That might need to, and with all fairness, that might need to be a new nickname for him, because I'm all about trying to give you the credit for what you're doing now. Well, as I was saying, that where was this energy from these same fans when Red Bull were found to have been cheating themselves? To be speculated. But what did we see? And this is what I'm going to talk about first. I'm going to get into Lando's quote. Let's finish his quotes first. He says, in fact, ours probably too good, and we probably are not pushing the limits enough, honestly. That's pretty strong. That's pretty strong. Because, like I said, if Lando is, appreciate all the love in the live chat. Dave's Quattro in the house. I see you. Jefferson, Paul, you know that. If Lando knows, really does know, and because none of you know what their wing spec'd out to, a lot of people making comments in the section, you don't know what the variable, you don't know what the readings were. You don't know what the findings were on the tolerance of their rear flap. You just don't know. Unless you work for the FIA, unless you have somehow gotten that documentation and you've looked at all of the measurements taken by the FIA for every car's rear wing under the force, I think it was 70, 75 kilograms or something like that. It was something like that. If you know that, then that's different. Please list all of that information in there. Every single team, every single car, and let's see where those variables lie. Let's see whose plus or minus is a lot bigger on that gap as far as those tolerances are concerned. But if you don't know that, you don't even know where McLaren's wing was checked at. You don't even know what their findings were. You don't even have a clue what the numbers were when they tested this rear wing. So to still be out here talking about their cheating is nothing but crying. That's what it is. And I'm sure majority of people crying and yelling and kicking and screaming that McLaren are cheating are Red Bull delusional fans that have been celebrating while Red Bull themselves have been caught in very funny situations, and you didn't have anything else to say. Christian Horner, before the season even gets started, he's launching protests against teams. You know what they say, if you smelt it, you dealt it. But let's continue on with the rest of this. If this technical directive was applied for the last weekend, we'd also be fine. So it's not directed at us. It seems it's directed at other teams, which probably means we need to push it even more. I'm going to give you something. I'm going to give you deflection. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to give you impartiality that, okay, you know what? Maybe Lando is putting on. Maybe his quote is what it should be in order to protect his team, his championship run, and feeling very confident in the car and not putting any information out there that might add for people to have ammunition to further criticize his team, right? But I got to say this, and this is what needs to be said. I'm not sure this weekend is going to tell you a lot anyway. I'm not sure. I'm going to go as far to say, I don't think that it would even be legitimate for you to use this weekend and compare it to last weekend for any of the teams. And why do I say that? Because the weather was an extreme issue. It was a problem. I don't want to say issue because issues are things you sometimes can't solve. Problems you can solve. It was a problem. It added so much of a discrepancy in there. The rookies got hazed. Teams got bombarded with trying to figure out multiple different strategies and pit stops. And cars are heavily impacted as far as performance in wet weather conditions. The Leon Sun says, ever since 2021, the sport is not real to me. You know what, bro? You have that same notion many do have, and you're absolutely within bounds to have that, because what happened in 2021, what happened with Renault and Alonso, what happened with that whole situation, what happened with, probably we can even add Latifi in there in 2021. What happened in these situations gives others like you the full credibility to feel very suspicious about about Formula One, especially how they move forward handling those situations. I would think people that are even-minded, people that are even open-minded, would have realized that not only was what was done in that race was wrong, how it was carried out post-race, how it was investigated and findings delayed and then kind of covered up and then come out after that, and then them finally admitting, yeah, it was wrong, but then never going back to overturn the situation in which you created. I get it. So what I was saying about the weather is, it's going to be a very annoying wave of people that if McLaren happened to not perform or underperform or lose a race in only the second race of the season, they're going to be on their wood mop-haired horses yelling like, we told you, we told you. Well, okay, that's fine. But can I tell you something? Because then I need you to do a little bit more than track 2 races, 2 events, when a regulation kicks in right away, no time, like we've seen other teams in other seasons. I need you to keep this in mind. I really do need you to keep this in mind, because this is a real thing, and I've showed this graph before. Where is the biggest drop-off of Red Bull performance? The biggest drop-off of Red Bull performance is when they initiated and enacted technical regulation 11.1.2 or 11.1.2. And that was regulations in regard to asymmetric braking, which we saw Max have a braking issue. And since then, it was nothing but a downward trend, one pop because of that event. And that's what happened. So if you make a graph like this, and we will with McLaren, if you notice every time, I've said it before, Red Bull dipped. And after the regulation, they took their biggest dip. There's a trend there. So yes, I'd be willing to say, if after the regulations are put in place and then several other events go by, that, yeah, this regulation might have impacted McLaren. The cheating is out of the door. There's no cheating here. There's no cheating here. I don't know what you have to, I don't know what you have to read or study to understand that there were variables here and all cars fell inside these variables, which means there's no cheating. And then we changed the regulation because we thought we can make it tighter, or McLaren was just whipping Red Bull's ass too much. I mean, if you say that McLaren's cheating, then you can't get mad for other people saying that the FIA have been protecting Red Bull. You can't get mad at saying that when they say the mafia, every time Red Bull is getting slayed, they want to come up and try to help the damsel in distress. You can't be mad about that. You can't be mad about it, and you really can't even debate it as much. Even swap no swindle. Because we have several things, several articles of evidence that would support other teams that have been known to cheat. We just do. And I'm going to be looking at this because we have free practice 1 tonight, which is really not going to give us a lot anyway. This is one of those weekends. Lando Jefferson in the super chat. Lando deserves credit for the clean getaway. And yes, Jefferson, full credit. Full credit. And I'm going to tell you this. I even have to give Lando a little bit more credit because I think a lot of us still, and I still do. I still need to see more proof from Lando, because remember what I said. I said there's 1 or 2 ways that this can play out. Either Lando has to be in a car that will allow him and enable him to do the best job he can, putting an insurmountable gap between he and Max Verstappen, or he's going to have to prove himself in close quarters with Max Verstappen. And we need to see, do you have the mental capacity and fortitude to, race Max like it needs to be done? And that's what now we're seeing, if it does still happen here, right? Because, I mean, McLaren, Lando was gapping the hell out of Max, gapping the hell out of him. We'll see what happens in this race. And still, I think people need to also understand, we don't know if the Red Bull winning streak is over. We don't know if it's over yet. Could be very well within, this is only the second event. Max Verstappen could go on a tear with Red Bull. McLaren could go on a fumbling fiasco, as we saw them have the capability to do. And Ferrari could get their crap together and all of a sudden they're taking over. It's just way too early in the season. And people are scared. And I'm going to tell you why some people are scared. Some people are scared is because they put themselves in a certain category that if things don't go exactly this way, you're going to look like an asshole. That's why. And you know who majority of those people are. They're quiet when he's not winning. And they're loud and Trumpish proud when he is winning. Right? That's what they do. Those type of people. I'm not talking about everybody. I'm talking about a certain group of people. Right? So they're very quiet. Mouse pissing on cotton in the church. Quiet. But they're loud when he wins. They're even quiet here. And you're like that because you put yourself in a corner because you say delusional, dumb things. And you need Max to keep winning in order for you to have anything to be valid. And even when he wins, you're not valid because you don't have anything to support what you're saying when you try to throw stones somewhere else. So I think it's just very important. Paul in the super chat says, what happened to Max could win in a right. What happened to Max could win in a house? Where's that energy? That's what facts. And this is another thing that we experience. They take these lunatic positions and then they back off of them real quick. They take these lunatic positions and act like we don't remember. Yo, didn't you were that same person that agreed and was yelling to the high heavens when Helmut Marko said this idiotic crap. You took it and ran with it. So I don't want to hear anything about you talking about, oh, well, Max is in the fourth fastest car to this fast. I don't want to hear it. You said he could win in a Haas or AlphaTauri, and those cars are back marker cars. And you said Max had the ability to get in that car in its current state and still go win or make pole position. Well, he's in a car by far way better than that. He's in a top car. He lost the first race. Might very well lose the second race. But I'll tell you what, I don't count him out. Oh, official Lauren Brown. What's up, Lauren? What's going on? It's still early. Better to humbly observe facts. What's going on, Lauren, man? I hope everything's going good with you. Yo, it is nice to see you. What's going on? Jefferson in the super chat. Red Bull Racing is done. The dominance has left with new. And Jefferson, that is a very, very fair opinion to have because there are some boards out there going around that indeed, if Newey leaves, so do the championships walk out with him. I've seen it. I've seen somebody I forgot who it was, but somebody made an informational board to show the drivers, the teams, Newey's in, Newey's out, no more championship. Newey's in, championships, he leaves, no more championships. And now this is going to be the first seat. And really think about it. Even when I showed you that graph, we saw when Newey announced that he's leaving, they dropped. Matter of fact, their first biggest consistent kind of drop, if you combine the two drops, because they dropped twice more so than the technical regulation, they dropped and then they were really that's still big because they popped and they dropped but they never returned. When Newey leaves, same thing. So that is a very, very popular opinion going around right now, which has been factually supported with data that you put together. Say, hey, it is a fact that Newey left, and it is a fact that when he left, they did not win anymore. Those are facts. Now, whatever correlation or whatever ingredients led to that, okay, maybe we have to parse through that a little bit more, but we do know these are two very distinct events, and when these events happen, the following did take place. And if we see that with Red Bull, then I mean, who's to say you should be debating saying that anybody that feels that way is really wrong? You have to put up something else that says counter to what they're showing you, right? And so then there came this whole notion of Max in a slow car and in all. I could have swore. I mean, I was pretty sure that when we were looking at the timing boards for what we could have probably even went to quali, right? We were looking at the timing boards for quali, and we had the speed trap on, which is speed in itself, right? It's speed trap. That's what it's there for. That's what it's called. It's a speed trap, which means it is capturing and measuring the speed of these vehicles when they go by, right? And so I could have swore that Red Bull's car was majority of the time within the top speed traps. Unless I'm mistaken, I could have swore that Red Bull's car was majority of the time in the top speed traps. So I'm trying to figure out why is it that, there it is right there. That's what I was thinking. Hold on, we got somebody else in the super chat. Let's see right here. Jefferson says James Viles said Max can't win and Sauber. That's a fact. Yo, James Viles is cunning, bro. James Viles is cunning, bro. He is very funny to me. Like all day long, bro. He is very funny to me. That dude is just, the things he says and that he does is just too damn funny, bro. Like when he comes, he has a very subtle way of saying things to make people be like, damn, James, you didn't have to do it like that. But yeah, James probably feels that he does have to do it that way because it's a lot of shenanigans, so I give credit to James on how he goes about his commentary, whether it's about another driver or even his driver. He just does a very good job with how he states things. But as it is, there it goes right there. I got it right here. Here it is, people. Let me bring it up for you. Let me bring this up because this is funny to me. Definitely funny to me. All right, so if we look at this speed trap right here, you should see, matter of fact, I'm gonna make it bigger. I'll make it bigger so we can actually check it out because, they say that he's in the fourth slowest car. Then I don't even understand if that's the case. Then why are we looking at speeds that don't support what you're saying? Because that doesn't support what you're saying. All right, here we go right here. We're going to look at this speed right here. And here we go. So right there, we realize Lawson right there. First, sector 1, you're looking at 291. Sector 2, 329. Sector finish line, Russell 310, him 39. Lawson in the speed trap, 327. 2 more kilometers an hour than Stroll and Bortoleto. Okay, so let's go a little bit further down. The Red Bull car is still there in the speed trap. Go a little bit further down. Max Verstappen and Lawson. 2 of the fastest cars, Lawson. So you're telling me that this Red Bull car is 4th fastest when I'm seeing them in the speed trap every time I turn around. So I don't know how people get that. I don't know how you look at information like that and you even have the gall to say, oh, it's the fourth slowest car. They even try to throw that in. The 4th slowest car. Do you even know what that means? The 4th slowest? That really means you're coming from the bottom. You're coming from the bottom up. It's the 4th car from the bottom that is the slowest. You're not even saying it correctly. The 4th slowest car? That means you like 16. 16 or 6. What are we talking about? So it's crazy when I hear people make these wild accusations and these embellishments to try to make Max Verstappen all of this. Yo, man, he's not in the slowest car. He's in one of the fastest cars. As a matter of fact, he's in the second fastest team's car. It's not Ferrari. It's not Ferrari. What, you going to tell me Ferrari is faster than Red Bull now? What you saw? You going to tell me Ferrari's faster than McLaren? You going to tell me Ferrari's faster than Mercedes? No. You're definitely not going to sit up here and say with a straight face that Mercedes is faster than a Red Bull with Max Verstappen in it, are you? So there's no way it's no way he's the fourth slowest car if you want to go by teams. There's no way he's the fourth slowest car even if you want to go by drivers. He was on the podium. So either you have to go ahead and say, hey, Max was only where he was because of the weather conditions and he would have been further back. Or you got to say, okay, Max had one of the fastest cars. He just did what he could do with it. But when you try to go ahead and say all of this other stuff, which we talked about, is kind of, it doesn't line up anytime we try to pair your nonsense with factual data. It just doesn't line up. So I don't, I see you, Lauren. I'm just saying, Lauren, what are they looking at then? It's kind of crazy. So with what I do have to say, we are going to see what happens here in China. Free practice 1 will come up. I'm not taking a lot from that. You also have to keep this in mind. Keep this in mind. McLaren, if they are the fastest team because they have exploited and found a way within the parameters, because remember, it's a legal car. The FIA checked it against their standards and all cars proved legal. That would mean among all 10 teams, McLaren has done the best within that regulation scope to get the most performance out of their car. So even if you decide to change and enforce a stricter regulation, a stricter measurement or tolerance, could it impact them? Sure. Will it level the playing field? Maybe that's what they want, because a lot of people feel like the FIA are all on Red Bull's camp. But if not, and you're just changing that, still you have to think, well, they were ahead then. And if everybody's getting suppressed, if you're here and I'm here and we both get suppressed 5 inches, I'm still in front of you because we both got to change. Unless that car was found to be out of spec, then we would, like asymmetric braking. You're not supposed to have that. So when you don't have that, then yeah, you lose a large amount of your performance that was built off of a false base. Not illegal, but banned eventually. DOS, gonna lose some performance. The wing by Aston Martin, not illegal, but banned eventually. Maybe you lose some performance. I mean, Aston Martin wasn't doing the best then, but it is what it is. Ferrari, extra fuel sensors, illegal, fined, not completely disclosed to us as the public, lost some performance. So we'll see over time. But when it's this early in the season, you're going to have people attributing any type of change that may have happened regardless if any of this was done to just this, because people are going to need to console themselves if by just Max Verstappen losing one race, when he could very well turn around in China, which he and Red Bull were very dominant in last season in the 5th round. And then all of a sudden they'll attribute it that I told you is McLaren was cheating. Well, is it McLaren was cheating, or is it that Max, kind of lucked up, but the weather conditions, and then he came to a track where they were already very dominant and it suited their car, and he performed well like he did last time, won a race, and it has nothing to do with the variables of McLaren having to adjust their wing. These are the things that just are completely blown out of proportion. And when it's very dangerous, rip Eddie Jordan. Oh, Jefferson, what's going on with Eddie Jordan, brother? Jefferson said, rip Eddie Jordan. I'm going to have to look at that. I'm going to have to look up that, bro. I'm going to have to check that out because it might be something for me to get in on him, brother. Might be something for me to get in on. But yeah, it's people that really don't understand. They come here, they notice my character, my personality, which my personality is a wide range dynamic. Okay, especially where I'm from, where I'm born, who I was raised around, my time in the military, all types of things. Like I'm not thin skinned. I like to have fun. A lot of times I come from a family where we fought, we picked on each other, we joked, we loved each other, we protected each other. So to me, I'm being in the comments with you all day, for real. But when you get to a point where I'm a locked down and I'm finna study, I'm finna break some numbers out of you, it gets dangerous for you. And then that's why they don't come on camera with me, because they know. I listen, I've had a troll backstage in my live event for F1 Minute. Told them to get on camera and debate with me. And do you know what they said? No. Why you think they said no? Because you're not ready. You're not ready for that smoke. Because you know you stand on a pile of BS. That's what you know. And when you see a bunch of people, oh, for sure, rest in peace, Eddie Jordan. Got you, brother. I thought you were saying something. I thought something might have been rest in peace, Eddie Jordan. For sure. I thought something might have came out about him. I didn't see that, didn't know what case, but definitely rest in peace. Anytime somebody loses a loved one, definitely we want to, salute that. And of course, if it's somebody who was diabolical and evil, we probably don't care much. The world is probably better without them. But, like I was saying, this is what we do, okay? This is what we do. I'm always going to be that catalyst, that guy where I'm going to say what I got to say because I'm not worried about what they going to do or say to me or what they going to give me or what opportunity they are not going to give me. I've had opportunities that people come here and they talk a lot of crap they ain't never had and probably won't ever have in their life. People that come here and talk a lot of crap in my comment section, you probably never been in a paddock. You probably never been in a paddock club. You probably never sat at a table being served champagne with Raikkonen, Zach Brown. You probably never sat at dinner and ate with Zach Brown. You probably never got a chance to chill with Alex Palou, Lando Norris. You probably never had a chance to see these people. You probably never had a chance to walk with Sebastian Vettel. Talk with him. Chill with him. You didn't have that chance, but you come here, you're going to say things, but you ain't never even been there. You ain't never been on the racetrack, like guided and chaperoned around. I done had these experiences and I'm still me and who I am today. So believe me, you here at the Wolf Pack and you talk like you talk, but guess what? You hear because we bring that type of energy. My family members bring that type of energy. It's hard for you not to want to come here because anywhere else you go is almost brain dead. They're going to have the same type of opinions. They're going to have the same type of dialogue. They're going to have the same type of takes. Why? Because they want to keep it nice and straight and neat, just in case they pick me. No, I don't care. Either you take me for who I am or you don't. And that's what we do here. Fisher Lauren, Big Hurt, Gregory, Marciano, Sylvia Witt Kelly, Mary Beanie, Galactus, Racer X210, Dave Quattro, Lord Chaos, Baraka, 083, Dave, White Iverson. I can keep going on and on and on and on and on. Paul for sure, Derwin. Like it's a lot of, listen, the community here is ridiculously, crazily nice. Wouldn't leave it. I've been asked to change the way that I do things and I didn't change it for the opportunity. Some people say that's kind of foolish. Me, I say it's fun. If I can't do it and enjoy myself, why I want to do it? Why I want to give you the opportunity to try to dictate what I do and don't say so you can have somebody that look like me to give your take. Nah, somebody already doing that. They already got a guy. That, does that. They got a guy that look like me to give their take and play nice little buddy. They already got a guy to do that. You don't need another one. You got that guy. And that guy still ain't even had the experiences I've had. So I'm just saying, it's better to be me, better to be myself. And y'all be yourself, and that's what makes our community what we do. So we're going to see. It's Thursday. Hey, Big Hurt, I appreciate you, brother. Sylvia Witt Kelly, there she go. I was just talking about her. She popped up like Candyman. Don't say that name too many times. But we are going to see what happens. And we're going to have a nice weekend. It's the first sprint weekend. It's going to be another challenging weekend for rookies, for sure. These rookies are catching it, but I like it. I like it. I do like it. I like that. I know it's hard for them. I'm hoping Hajar does not have the weekend he had last time. I know it's hard for him, but I like it because they're getting tossed in the fire. We're gonna see who makes it out. You know, none of them are gonna make it out unscathed, but some of them are gonna make it out stronger than they came in. And that's very interesting to watch. It's very interesting to watch a person change themselves and elevate and evolve and adapt and become a better driver than they were at the first part of the season, on the back half of the season. Antonelli, full kudos to him. Promoted to fourth, great. But there were a lot of stipulations in there that led to that. Now you got to come into a different track. Now you got to come into a sprint weekend. And we get to see all these rookies again reset and see how they're going to adapt and how they're going to react and how they're going to respond to this. How are drivers like Hajar doing? Or how are they going to come off of a race weekend like that, mentally reset, get back in these cars and leave all that in the past to go forward? This weekend, the second weekend, means a lot in that. What is your opinion on Kanye and Jay-Z? Oh, man. Oh, the Leon son, man. You get me off Formula One, bro. You about to get me on a whole nother bag. We love you the way you are, and I love you the way you are, Jog. Love you too, bro. Hey, I'm going to tell you like this, Leon. It's always something with Jay-Z. And Jay-Z got his faults like everybody. But Kanye wrong for attacking those kids, man. And Kanye sometimes go off on these limbs. I think he need to sit in a room and just talk to somebody instead of doing what he does. But I will say this, Kanye is a very smart person. He's very smart, and he has his own way of somewhat being a revolutionary in some ways and kind of combating some of the notions that come from what you would call the machine. He does do a very good job of that. And sometimes the way he does it rubs people wrong way, but I would not be attacking kids. I think when he started attacking the kids and calling them tarded and all, I was out on that. You just don't. Where I'm from, women, kids, elderly people, you keep them out the way. You know, you do what you got to do with who you got to do it to, but we don't do that. And so when I saw he attacked those kids, man, I was out on that, bro. That's just not something I'm doing. I got people I don't like, and if I saw their kids in trouble, I'm gonna try to jump to those kids' age for real. Those kids don't be knowing, kids are kids, bro. Yeah, it's just, yeah, you went wrong right there. Drake did the same thing. He went wrong talking about kids and try to paint Kendrick as a woman beater. Then when he got his ass whooped in the rap battle, he started crying and trying to file lawsuits, so go figure. It happens. So, it is what it is. It is. And you got to know, people with a genius mentality that can create like that, there's always something to them that rubs the average people the wrong way. Either they're very withdrawn or they're very sporadic and they just do things that kind of strike you off guard. It's just look at all genius people, whether they are painters or music artists or artists themselves, or in some form, some just unicorn within whatever it is that they practice in. Definitely not like us. I mean, damn, Lauren, you got to think Drake been getting his ass kicked. Yo, that's what he get. Kendrick told him, though, to be fair, Kendrick told him, keep it rap. Don't make it personal. He even warned him, and he didn't do it because Drake thought he was that big dog. Drake thought he did that voiceover for Kick Sauber F1, and he just thought he was the man, homie. He just thought he was the man, and then Kendrick showed him that I'm that real beast, and now Drake crying on the whole. It's about to be a whole nother year, and he's still crying about that ass whooping. That's a bad one. Now he's trying to sue, and they done told him that he lost too. So anyway, we getting off F1 a little bit, but I do appreciate y'all. We're going to see what happens in the Chinese GP. Do let me know below in the comment section, in the live chat if you are. If you're not in the live chat, it's because you're not a subscriber. And if you're not going to be in the Discord with us this weekend, it's because you're not a Wolfpack family member like Sylvia with Kelly, like Gregory, like Paul, like Lord Chaos. You don't have a badge, so you won't be invited there. Dave's Quattro, We're going to be in the Discord. I want to hear all your opinions on the race. That's what we're going to do, a race debrief. I want to hear all the opinions on the race, what's going to happen. We're going to be up. It's going to be another late one. I'm going to do my best, like I said, to make it. I'm going to practice tonight to see where my body is so I can kind of watch free practice 1 to get a gauge for where I'm going to be this weekend, try to line some things up. So with that being said, Wolfpack Performance out. Peace and love. See y'all soon. All right.